Welcome to the channel, guys. Welcome to my stream and another video working on this guy right here. That's our Fury tank, the 1/35th scale by Tamiya. So let me load the intro and we'll get right into it. Alright, so we got the stowage all done. We're moving along, and it's just about time to get dirty, okay? We're going to make this a dirty girl. Now, we got the storage done. Storage is done, and you'll notice that the blanket now is no longer white, it's now red. And I painted the ropes, painted them a nice brown color, got them all done. And one thing I did, let me change the camera and I'll show you here. Move my coffee out of the way. Change the camera so you can see a little better. Okay, so got our ropes done that we made last time. Got those painted brown. I've got my blanket painted red, although in this camera it looks a little bit pinkish, but it's red, trust me. One thing I did forget to actually add until yesterday was the our big cable that goes along the edge there and goes down and just hangs off the front, right? So I added that. Okay, so yeah, got our ropes painted on the sides here, and on this side painted on there. Got our buckets hanging off the side. I did add this bucket. I almost forgot about this little bucket here. It's not really a bucket. It's a barrel, and yeah, so I added a strap around that. The strap is painted kind of black. Looking at my reference photos, this strap is kind of fat. It's not a rope, it's a strap. And so I just made that out of some thin masking tape, stripped that along there, just glued it under there, wrapped it through the loop on there, and just glued it on. It's kind of hard to tell because it's, it's black. So yeah, so that's on there. These are now nice and solid, they don't shake around. And you notice I actually put the track on this side, right? So we are going to do that on the other side also. And yeah, we're going to do that today. And we're going to add some mud. We're going to get some mud in this puppy. So let's just put this down for a sec here. Okay. I'm going to be using pigments by VMS. Okay, these guys make some pretty quality products for doing this kind of stuff. They have all kinds of different pigments and things like that, and textures for doing mud and all kinds of stuff. A lot of diorama kind of things, right? So yeah, it's a good product. I recommend it. I'm not sponsored. Don't worry about it. It just works. Okay, it's just good stuff. That being said, it is a little bit messy because we literally are creating mud, right? So, but before we get into it, I've got my other set of tracks to go on the other side, and I have a, it's not lead. What is it called? What's it called? What's it called? Graphite pencil. I think I got this on eBay, or not eBay, on Amazon. Yeah, if you look in that camera there, General's graphite pencils, basically. 4 extra smooth, soft ones. There's a 2B, a 4B, and a 6B. I don't know which one is which. So, yeah. So if all you have is like a pencil, that works too. So what you do is, let's change the camera again. You want to get in here on the inside with it, basically representing where your load wheels would come in contact with it along there. Okay, so your load wheels go along here, this, okay, and basically they get rubbed clean all the time, so the insides of these tracks don't really get rusty that much. They stay kind of nice, smooth, metallic. So what I'm going to do is take my pencil. I want to get in on that cleat, right in tight here. Okay. So, and I'm just going to start rubbing it. That's right, I'm rubbing it good. And I'm going to make this kind of shiny. And I'm going to go through on each side like this. Sorry, with the camera angle it's going to be hard. So, but here, this is basically, you can see, it's giving it a kind of a metallic sheen. Just a little bit. If I get that in the right light, you can see it. Again, apologize, camera angle is kind of preventing you from seeing it. But you might ask yourself, why bother doing all this when you're going to put a bunch of mud on there anyway? Well, because if you're putting mud on these parts of the tracks, then you're basically putting mud in a spot that would not be realistic. Okay? Because, simply put, these are getting rubbed right up against the steel wheels, or rubber in whatever case it may be, and the mud would definitely not remain. Any mud that would get picked up is going to get squished out and rubbed away almost immediately. So I would say you don't want to be applying mud to the inner part of your tracks anyway. Maybe along the teeth that go in between the wheels, that's a possibility. I could see those staying dirty, but not with chunks of mud on them for sure. And I'm all the way around. There we go. Okay, fingers get a little bit of graphite on them from that, but whatever. So there's our graphite on the inside now, okay? It's kind of, like I said, it's kind of hard to see, but you get that little metallic sheen on there, and yeah, okay? It's just that extra little bit of detail that makes it seem like it's a little realistic. Okay, put that back in there. All right, so that's done. So let's put our track on. This is a little bit of a tricky situation because I do have load wheels, I do have wheels that have to go on there. This guy's going to go on the end here like that. Okay. These guys go in the middle here and here, but I kind of have to put them on while I'm putting the track on. Sort of, kind of. So let's get this kind of put in there. That. And I do want to glue these ones in because if I don't glue them, literally the only thing holding them on would be the center teeth of the tracks. So I do want to put a little dab of glue on there and glue them in. And that will be their new home. It's a little bit tricky getting them in there, I will say that. And I do want to change my glasses here. Okay, so let's put a little dab of glue on that. Let's get a wheel set up. There we go. Okay, let's get this kind of more in line. Next wheel. Pull this back out. There we go. Okay. Next, we have our drive gear. We're going to pull this kind of tight, and we have to kind of pull it out again. Get this lined up on our teeth. There we go. And lined up here. A little bit of tension. Be careful where you're holding the tank. We're in. There we go. Make sure our wheels are tight still. And I've got the track upside down. So this comes off now. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. There we go. And we'll start from scratch. Okay, I might wind up pulling these wheels out, trying to get the track out of there now. Fortunately, they're rubber, so it's not that bad. Okay, flip it around, put it back. Yes. It's a good thing these are rubber tracks, because if these were not, it would be a nightmare trying to get those in there. I basically wouldn't be able to. But because they are rubber, they've got some flex. There we go. Get that over the front again. There. Okay. And we'll put our cog back in. I'm going to take a drink of coffee. Okay. Back in on the front. Get in underneath. Pull that out. All lined up nice. There we go. And back like this so I can see. Okay, get back in there. Get back in there. Okay, why suddenly it's being a pain? There we go. Okay. And push. Flip that over. Push. There we go. We're in again. With the tracks the right way around this time. Okay, let's make sure our wheels stayed in place. Yep, they good. All of our guide wheels are in place, and she has 2 feet. Now sits on her own. There we go. Tracks are installed. And now you can, I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure, you can see on the camera the wear that the graphite is showing, where the wheels would rub against the tracks there as it goes along, and it looks realistic. It looks like some realistic wear on there, right? All right, so that's it. Time to get dirty. Time to get dirty. Get down and dirty. I did add straps to all my little helmets last night. Again, just a little piece of masking tape, and then CA glue on in there on the inside, and now I've got straps. Helmets all have straps on them now. just like that. See? Little straps. And now I can hang them on the various parts of the turret, just like they're supposed to. Let's move all my extra bits aside here. Okay, so we are going to make some mud. So I'm going to put this aside just for now. I'm going to grab one of these. Okay, again, Spot On Pigments by VMS. Okay, I'm using number 4 texture. This is brown earth, but it doesn't really matter. The color is not that important. We're going to be using one of their products called Alkyd Binders. Okay, that's how we're going to make this stuff muddy and spread it around and stuff like that. Okay, this stuff dries kind of slow, so you do have to let it sit afterwards. So that's basically going to be the focus of this video, is just making the mud and applying it. Now my palette is a little dusty, so because I just had it sitting, so I'm just going to make sure I'm not adding a bunch of unnecessary things to my mixture. Okay, the other thing is you are going to destroy your brushes. Okay, so I'm going to use my old crappy brush here that's all stiff and whatever. It's not that great. It doesn't matter because this can basically thrown away afterwards. Okay, so it's just basically like a powder, right? But this is textured, so it's kind of thick. Okay, so I'm going to scoop some out, put it in here, and then you're going to need quite a bit actually. Okay, now when you look at photos of this thing in the museum, it basically just looks like it's got a bunch of dried dirt on it, right? But then when you see the movie, this thing really actually went through the mud like crazy. And that's kind of what I want to represent on this. I don't want it to look like the museum piece. I want it to look like it's being used in the movie, right? Or it's in service. As I think probably for the museum, they probably hosed it all down and cleaned it all off, but not super great. They left it dirty, but none of the mud and everything all caked all in here. So, but I am going to be actually putting a little bit of caked on mud in here. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. You want to add enough of this stuff that you can actually make mud. How thick or how thin is up to you, right? So you just add enough. If you want to make a paste, then you make a paste. That's basically what we're doing. And then we just mix it up. I might have to add more. I think I added too much water. I basically made a wash with this. Okay? That is not what we're going for. We're not going for a paint. We want a texture. We want mud. So let's add some mud. I'm going to use, I'll just use the end of this to add. See how that does. See, it absorbs that really quick. And in the end, I don't really have a lot made here, do I? But that's the mud. Okay. So, because I don't want to spill anything, let's put my lids on. So I got a good start, I think. Okay. We want to get kind of inside here because realistically mud would be in there. So I'm just going to start kind of painting around in here and turning this all kind of brown. The nice thing about this stuff is if you actually get too much on, you can wash it away. It does clean up nice. I think leaving a little bit of muddy texture is realistic. Okay. I did notice on the real tracks there is mud in between all the cleats and stuff like that. For the gear, I am going to paint it like this, with the odd little clump here or there that's been, you know, deposited at some point and didn't get cleaned away. My wheels are basically going to be all brown and muddy. These guys got in the mud. Definitely got in the mud. I am going to be adding another color to this because I don't think this brown mud would have been totally that same color. You might be thinking, it really is a shame that you spend all the time painting this only to cover it all up with mud. I'm doing along in the cleats here of the tracks. I think that's realistic. This is where you have to kind of be a little bit more precise and not be so messy. Another thing I want to do, I believe up in here would totally be brown with mud and even have lots of deposits on it. The underside of our fenders here for sure. Even the underneath of our logs would probably get some mud on them. Logs, well, they didn't really go anywhere. So that adds a little bit of interesting story to it. Seeing that tank and that one scene goes through the mud, and it just, you see just how much mud cakes on the bottom of these wheels. It's just, yeah. Let's see. I'm going to put a little bit more caked into the rim, into the hub of that one. Just put a little bit of texture on our tracks here. I also want to keep in mind how much of this is going to be seen, right? One wheel here is sitting here a little too pretty. Sure to get inside there and paint it all brown. You can see what my brush is turning out to be like, with all this texture just wreaking havoc on the bristles. Let's get in there. I think that's a good representation of a muddy, it's dirty, but it's not super awful looking. It's not like it just ran through the mud, right? One little thing I want to get up is kind of underneath the fender here if I can, the front fender. Just kind of give that a little wipe. Now, last little bit is how dirty is the hull? Well, the hull gets dirty, right? So we're going to kind of do that. Okay, do it on this side too. Figure even the underside of our little 4x4 on the front there. Probably see some mud splatter too sometimes. Alright, I think that's pretty good. I want to get the inside. Don't forget the inside track. Now underneath here and this inside, I'm not going to bother. Okay? I'm not going to bother with that. I'm never going to see it, so why waste the time? Why waste your time doing that, right? Parts that you're never going to see, you're never going to look at. Focus on this side now. We're starting on the inside, get that all painted brown because, well, that's what it would do. And our gear. Now if you run out, that's another thing about this stuff, you can always just add more, redo it. Another nice thing about this, the textured pigment, is that you can actually use it to get rid of some of the detail. You can eliminate some detail because you basically add the texture on there where it clumps up. And I want to add a little more to like the inside of the rim, one of these wheels, to like say we got some actual, this went through a big clump of mud and it got stuck in there. Again, they have, VMS also makes something they call weathering carrier, and what that does is it cleans this stuff off, and so you can refine your mud effects with it. By cleaning it up. Finally, our back wheel needs some nice mud added to it. And now we'll do our cleats and the underside of our fender. It's a little hard to, now with my brush being so frayed like this, it's a little hard. I'm actually going to change brushes. I'm going to get another brush. If I can find them. Where are my brushes? There they are. Big bag of these I got on Amazon. Something like 50 brushes for $10 or something like that. So this will let me See, they're stiff. Right out of the bag, they're stiff. Okay. This will let me get in here a little bit easier. Forget, underneath the log, it's going to get mud there. And under our fender. Maybe even the bottom of these. Got a little bucket hanging down. Definitely on our rear mud guard. Definitely get mud in there. Get it on here. Cleats. Now, if you're like me and you're running out, well, just grab some more and make another mix. So I'm going to add this. I'm going to put a few drops here, and that's going to give me an idea of how much pigment I need to add. Let's try that. Doink. Doink. Do a mix. There we go. That's pretty good. Dry pretty quick, so you can start handling it pretty soon. I think on the back here is probably where you would see the most deposits of mud. Probably. Where it's the dirtiest. I'm working with it upside down for like no real reason. And even our bucket that's hanging there, bucket's gonna get muddy. Bottom of our barrel too. Gonna get that treatment. Okay, I've got my tracks all nice and done on this side. But what about this side? No, I gotta go along this edge. Do my deposits on this edge too. Now, like I said, I want them muddy, but I don't want total caked on everywhere. All right. I think that is a decent representation of some muddy tracks, and yeah, the wheels kind of like they should be. I think the wheels should be dirty, even the rubber parts. Okay, so now, was there mud on the top? I don't think so. Maybe a little bit, but I think for the most part, we don't want so much texture as we want just a little bit of color. So I'm just going to go around a little bit here and add some kind of some stippling and discoloration. We're going to add some brown to it. Okay. Now I can add a little bit more of my binder to turn this into more of a paint. So it's kind of like a thick paint that is going to be, that when it dries, it actually has a bit of a grittiness to it. Okay. So that being said, I don't want too much, so I'm going to dry off my brush a little bit. And add just a little bit. I want to add on that back fender, maybe on the tops of these fenders, just a little bit, maybe a little on the logs. Where, you know, maybe some, you know, this thing did see a lot of shell fire and stuff like that, a lot of dirt kicking up everywhere. Maybe there's some dirt right along in there. So you know what you can do? You can add just a little bit, like grab your tweezers of some sort, or something, a little tiny scoop, like this, and just let it kind of drop down in there. Okay. Get a little bit in the wheel here too. Like that. I think I'm dropping more on the floor than I am on the tank. There we go. You can kind of fill those up. And then what you can do take the binder, just add a little drop. Now I went and touched the fender with the side. That's not what I wanted to do. So I want to soak that up. I wanted to just drop it down there. There we go. You can see what this starts to look like as it dries, right? That's pretty much it. So I've got two brushes I'm going to throw away. I think that's good. A little bit, not enough stippling on there. Fade that in a little. Definitely turn this into a dirty tank. Definitely a dirty tank now. Okay, that's it. So with this, I throw away my brushes. That's done. I'm going to move this over here for a sec while I kind of wipe my working area clean, because I got a lot of, that basically feels like I got sand on there now. And that's kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to this stuff. I'm going to change the camera here so you can see what I'm doing. You get a lot of kind of dirt, dust, kind of texture all over everything, and you need to clean that off. Otherwise, you're basically putting your hand in dirt for the next 4 days. So yeah, like I said, it's a dirty job. It is, you're actually literally making mud and dirt. So yeah, but that's that. So next, dust. What I like to do for dust is I like to use AK Interactive's dust effects. This stuff here, okay? As you can tell, a few shakes there. Took a second for my little metal ball inside to actually start moving, because they put a lot of pigment in these. But this stuff is really good because you can just splatter it everywhere you want and just clean it all off later. Now already this tank is looking pretty good, pretty dirty, but it's kind of the wrong texture. It's the wrong color. This is dust, so it's a light gray color, and we can kind of refine our mud color with the dust. At least that's my theory. That's my theory anyway. Sometimes a lot of this stuff is a little bit of trial and error because I've never done it before. But that's kind of the nice thing about this is, well, you get to try stuff out that you've never done. Okay, so I'm going to use this brush, a little bit bigger, and we're going to start adding dust. And I need to incorporate the turret into this because the turret's dusty as well, and I want it realistic and to actually have it match. I don't want a dirty hole in a brand new turret, right? So let's change again. As you guys might notice, I have added the machine guns on here. This one is not glued in yet, so I'm going to remove him, and I'm going to remove the little helmets off the back here. There's 1 and 2 and 3. There we go. Okay. So this particular gun, this does move up and down like that. You don't get a total super range of motion, and you got to be careful because I've got my photo etch rear sight on this and the photo etch front handle. So yeah, you got to be a little bit careful, but that's fine. Okay, dust. Yeah, that's a tight lid. It's tight because I got all kinds of paint in the threads. Okay, so how clean or how messy is up to you. Doink, 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 doink. You might wonder, why are you putting a bunch of dots? I thought you said you could just go crazy with it. Well, I can. But you can also go overboard with it and turn your tank into a gray washed out tank. So I'm going to do that. Okay. And we're going to do the same on our hull here. Boink, boink. I am going to wait enough time for our pigment on the front here to dry. think that's a good start right there. I think that's good. I'm going to try that. Okay, so I will clean my brush. I actually want to go doink and doink on there, on the barrel. Why not, right? Okay, let's clean this off. Okay, I'm just going to do this real quick. Because I just realized my air conditioner's going like crazy, and you probably can't hear half of the stuff I've been talking to you about for the last half an hour or whatever. Wherever, yeah, 45 minutes. Okay, so this is just AK's what do you call, white spirits thinner. That's what you clean these things up with. It doesn't attack enamel, which is nice. So I'm going to use my bigger, softer brush, and I'm going to be kind of stippling it. Now, the longer you wait to do this on this, the harder it's going to be, but also the more you're going to be able to kind of spread it out a little bit. I know a lot of guys, especially like Uncle Night Shift there, he likes to use his oil paints for this stuff because they blend a lot easier, right? And so as you can see, I just basically go around. You guys saw me do a very similar thing on my little helicopter guy that I built last time. So what you can see, I'm kind of taking this, and it can go around different areas and blend it out where you think dust might accumulate, right? So basically the whole area is dusty, but at the same time you can spread it out where you want. If it's like, okay, I got way too much in this little area, you can clean it up. Okay, clean it up. You don't want to wait forever before you clean it up. If you wait too long, it does tend to harden and becomes near impossible to clean out. You think, oh, I'll just add some more white spirits and I'll clean it up. Well, yes, you can do that. But if you wait, say a week, it basically hardens up so that it doesn't get reactivated with the white spirits. And yeah, then you can't really clean it up. See, I want to kind of push it to the corner there, push it to that edge. Get a little more thinner here, get my brush a little more wet so I can spread that around. This one's activated. This is where a good quality kit is nice and handy, because you don't have to worry about seam lines so much. I do want to pull this kind of down into this over our hatch. Now you start to see where this is turning into white, right? It's just becoming a white turret, and that's a little too much. I want to preserve some of the color in there, and that's where cleaning it up and wiping it away a little bit comes in handy. You want to refine it a little bit because it's easy. Now on the sides, you can actually use this to your advantage to do little streaks, right? You can blotch it, but you can also streak it. I got a big one there that I did. It's not necessary, but that's okay. See, as it activates it again, it's create a nice streak. You can blend it and make it look fairly realistic. The brush is getting dry, so streak. It's just going to blend. There we go. How's our top looking? Still a little white. And this. Just because the turret is, or the barrel is not perfectly clean. Just do a little bit of that. A little bit of blotchiness there. There we go. So our turret is done. Oop. That is not a good thing to do at all. That's not good. That's one way to really screw up your stuff. Wow. Okay. And that shows the importance of a nice clean working area. And to put the lids back on your stuff. So let's take a break. Let's take a break while I clean up all of my thinner that I just poured down all over my desk.
One pair of pants later.
Back to our regularly scheduled program. Alright, so as I was saying, I've got the turret done. I think, although it looks pretty white now, that's fine. That's going to get refined down later on. And now I can glue my little machine gun in. I think like that. I think realistically for them to open the hatch, this would probably be sitting over to the side like this, in that kind of fashion. So let's grab my thin. Like so. And just for added measure, because I did actually drill a hole all the way through, I am going to glue it from underneath too, just so he stays forever, really forever in that position. Okay, turret aside. Back with our thinner. Now I have much less in our jar, but that's okay. back with what we were doing. Wet our brush and start blending away. Now, I don't know if the white spirits does anything. The white spirit looks like it actually activates the mud also, which is something new to me. I've never done a combination of this before, but it looks like it actually does both. The whole idea here is to eliminate these little white spots everywhere. I think compared to the turret, I don't have enough for it to match and actually look like I want it to. So I think I got a lot on the turret, and now I've got just a little on the hull. Although some spots it does. Let's see, I'm kind of transferring it a little bit. Spots where it's like, oh yeah, there's lots here. Putting it in different spots so we get some uniformity over the tank. Because here on this side we got a little too much. So I'm going to get rid of that a little bit. You see where I put it here on the hull, but I want to put it over on this grate and everything too, so blend it in other spots. Even on top of our jerry cans, maybe it's so I put it in as a spot, but I don't want to keep that spot. I want to blend that around, smear it around, stipple it, blend it in with the other surroundings, all kinds of things like that, and get a nice uneven surface everywhere. Right? Again, it's up to you how little or how far you go with it. You can add a little bit of streaking too to get that little effect of like a little bit of water runoff. Whatever you like. So there you go. We've got a pretty dirty looking tank now. And I'm not done because we have to do, I want to do the sides. It's not realistic if you don't do the sides too. So let's just, let's be smart and put the lid back on our thinner. I want to add a couple on the sides, especially around the markings. Reference photos show the markings on this thing are all but gone. So I want to do that and add a couple of things where I can streak it down. That's a nice big one. There we go. Okay, and then on the back, last little spot, we'll do a couple of spots where it might streak down. I think that's good enough. I think that should be enough to finish it up. Let's clean my brush. Yeah, I think that's good. Looking pretty good. Nice and dirty. Okay. Now normally I don't go right over it when it's fresh, but with these ones I think I can get away with it. I want to streak this down. Streak that one down. It's a little bit hard to get the streak in. With the logs in the way. Basically eliminated them. Kind of a neat effect with the fact that I've got some mud on the top too. I can pull that mud down and streak it also at the same time. I've got a lot right here, but that's okay. I'm going to use that to my advantage and blotch up the sides and make it not quite so pretty. The sides are just a little too clean. Just a little too clean for my liking. Compared to the rest of the tank, suddenly the sides are like beautiful and nothing on them at all. So yeah, add a bunch of streaking on the sides there. It looks a little better. Okay. With that, there's only one thing left, guys. Only one thing left to do. Only one thing left to do, guys. And that's to do a matte varnish. Do flat clear over it. To make sure I've got no gloss. Any glue that might be sticking out and being nice and shiny. It's going to hide all of that. Okay, let me get my table set up. Flat clear is going to seal in all the decals. It's going to seal in all the pigments. All of my different colors. Where's my flat clear? TS80 Tamiya. My go-to for flat. I have mud on my gun barrel. That's not realistic. Okay, let me get my little rotator thing. My little lazy Susan helps me get all angles. Okay. There we go. Nice coat of flat clear. Now for the turret. I'm going to hold it by the barrel here. I'll do the turret itself, the body, and then I'll just, after that's dry, then I'll just go on the turret, on the barrel. Seals in everything. The drawback to doing that is my clear glass gets fogged over, and you don't get, it's no longer nice shiny clear glass. And it looks like I need a second coat on top here. There we go. Okay, that's the turret. Let's see how we do here. I think I did good. I think I got everywhere I need. No, not quite. Okay. Now I got everywhere I need. Give that a minute to dry. That's another nice thing about Tamiya paints is they dry fast. Except where you put it on too thick, then it takes a few minutes. Might take a minute or two. We're almost done. We're almost done. How long has it been on this particular time? What's my time like? Oh, not bad, not bad. I think. Oh no, it's been over an hour. Been over an hour. But we're going to be done. We're going to be done, guys. It's going to be finished finally. Okay. Let's put our turret on. Oh, we've got little details. Our helmets have to go on. Our helmets have to go on. Bing, like that. We've got to add our detail. This one hung on here. And then this one hung on. Just like that. 3 little helmets hung on. Okay. This should be dry now. And come on. Find your home. There we go. Tight fit because paint and stuff like that, but there we go, guys. Our Fury is finished. The Fury is finished. Our mud effects all done. Just like that. Stowage on the back. Oh, I forgot to do these. Oh well. Oops, my helmet fell off. Hang that back on there. One thing I am forgetting. Something goes right here. One little added detail. Our little German gas mask. That's got to go on here. So they had it hanging right there. I actually got to see. I'm going to have to look at my reference photo to see how that actually was hanging there. Because the way they did it, it looked like it's really hanging on. I might have to cut this off, this back half, to actually have it hang. This is actually a resin piece I bought on eBay. 3 pieces resin. It's nicely detailed. The Italeri kit does come with one, but this one is definitely more detailed and looks nicer. But it's got the full head on there, which makes it a little difficult to actually hang on there. So I've got to cut a slot in the back here. So I'm going to do that. I'll do that right now. Grab my Dremel. Grab my Dremel and I'll just put a notch right in the back there so it can hang on that lip. Okay, now it's got a notch in them. That should let me kind of hang them on there. It's not perfect, but it's not bad either. There. That hangs good. Yeah. Now it hangs on there. I'll use some CA glue to cinch them down there. Let's get rid of our white dust from the resin. There we go. Okay, CA glue. CA glue to glue the resin. And he goes right here on this piece. And goes down just like that. There we go. We have our gas mask on the front of the tank, just like the movie. There we go, guys. Fury's finished. My helmet fell off again. There we go. Finished. Done. All done, guys. Finished. Okay. That's where we're ending it today, guys. I'm going to take some pictures of this and I'll upload it to my Instagram later. And so you can check out the links down in the description box and you'll find my links to my Instagram and you can check out the still pictures. And you'll also see links to my Twitch channel and you can watch me on Twitch. You can subscribe to me on there. And you'll get notified when I'm live, and then you can talk to me live if you so feel like it. Other than that, we're going to end that here, guys. We are finished. Finished the Fury finally. Finished the Fury finally. Yes. All right, guys. That's it. So, we'll finish it up. Hit that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. I know something like 83% of you guys who watch my channel are not subscribed. So please do me that favor and hit the subscribe button. If you like this stuff, let me know. Leave comments down in the comment box. And yeah, we'll see you all in the next one.